Hi everyone, it's Karen here and welcome back to my channel. I know I've been a bit MIA, but I wanted to join this fabulous hop. This is the Crafty Sisters YouTube hop, and it's along all these wonderful Crafty sisters that I love so much. They're so amazing and so talented, and I can't wait to see all the projects. We have some amazing sponsors and fabulous prices, and I created an art journaling page for you today. You can find the rules of this hop or how to win the prizes at the end of this video or below in the description area. Enjoy! So I was really debating what to create for this YouTube hop. I took out one of my pages from the Joggles art journal. I've been in a really big creative coffee break, I want to call it. I'm stuck and I just haven't been able to create a lot, but I did promise Monica that I was going to join this hop. So I figured, you know what, let me sit down and see what I want to create. And one of the things that I knew I wanted to do is something to do with a show that I recently watched, the show Lucifer. So I'm not sure how this page is going to turn out. And I also have this idea in my head of just playing with these things, with these elements, especially something because the Lucifer is about the devil, and it's about redemption and love and so many different things. I recently made another piece, and you can see it here. And this piece is a canvas that I created. There's no video for it, but I really got inspired to do this. So this show really affected me in a different way. And I have to continue with something that inspires me. Sometimes the inspiration comes from weird places like TV shows and stuff like that. And that's okay as well. I really connected to this show and I want to continue doing that. So my idea today is, after taking this Joggles disc-bound journal page, is to create something with like kind of these fires. Now this is the Crafters Workshop stencil. It's called Mini Flames. I don't know if it's available yet, or I mean it's still available. It's one of the original ones, and you know what, truthfully, it doesn't really matter. You can just draw this if you need to. It's just something that I figured I wanted to use. I want to kind of do something with like good and evil, heaven and hell, things like that. Just really had the idea of having the fire here. So I am going to do that. And what I thought to do is basically the flames at the bottom. Now I'm going to be using two different things. One of them is the golden nugget paste from Finnabair, and that is to create the flames at the bottom. And then I'm going to be using something else for the top. So I'm going to grab my silicone brush and basically just do this on top. So what I like about this one, it's a little bit of it has a see-through element to it as well, so it's not all black. I debated whether or not to use the graphite texture paste, but I figured this would be a better solution, so not kind of cover everything, but just to have a little bit of that kind of black fitting in. But also it has the golden flakes, which really looks cool because this is going to kind of look like fire. One of the things I really love about this show is the redemption quality that the devil basically has, that Lucifer has. And I really need to kind of continue with what inspires me, as I said. And that's something that is inspiring me at the moment. So I have to go with what inspires me at any given time. And that's a really good tip to do when you're doing art journaling or when you're doing any project. It doesn't have to be something that you see somewhere else, but it has to do with something that basically inspires you to create. And that's the most important thing. If you find something that inspires you to create, then you're in a good position. And then I'm going to move the stencil to the next page, to the next stage, just to get the rest of it. So you can see the flames. They look really cool. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Just basically add the flames carefully to the background. I think that will really inspire me to add more things to it. Now I am going to add color. I'm definitely going to add color to this, and it is going to be a little bit different than my usual, and that's okay as well. I actually don't know where I'm going with it. I just have just the image of heaven and hell, or heaven and earth, or whatever. No, it's heaven and hell, but But other than that, I don't have any other like idea of what I want to do. Just want to add a little bit of this here. Okay, so that's basically the bottom. It doesn't look like fire yet, but it's just the bottom part. I'm going to dry this up and clean my stencil. For the top part, I debated whether to do the same thing as to put the flames kind of going the opposite direction, but with a different medium. I really wanted to use the unicorn paste, which I thought would be perfect for that. So that's what I'm going to do. I debated also to do the unicorn paste on its own without the flames, but I think this will be a better solution and it just will look really cool. And what I like about the unicorn paste, it is see-through and it has like shiny elements to it, which is perfect for like kind of making that heavenly theme, and that will work itself with everything else. And then move this stencil again, so it will be hard for you to see because it's very see-through, but once I add the color it should be able to see a little bit more. You might not see a lot at the top because the top is kind of going to stay a little bit white, but I'm not sure how it's going to turn out. We're going to experiment with this. You're going on an experiment with me. So we're going to know soon enough how everything will turn out. There we go. So now we have both the top and the bottom. So I really find that doing something that is meaningful is really important. Even if it is not the nicest thing, it has to be meaningful to you, especially when you are journaling. And this is what is doing for me. So now that it's all dried, I thought I would use some of the fluid acrylics from Finnabair. This is those liquid acrylics that are just really amazing that I've used before. And I figured I would get a few colors to kind of add to my fire at the bottom. And then the top would be more like white. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to add some white at the top, but I'm actually going to use not so liquid acrylics, but more of a thicker white. This is a zinc white because I really want it to be a bit thicker than the liquid acrylics. Just for the top, just to kind of add things to the top. And what I'm doing is I'm adding a little bit of water and just basically adding the white in certain areas. What I want is that when I add the other ones, they will just mix when I add the other colors, they will mix each other with the white and kind of prevent it from going all the way to the part where it's not supposed to. So I want the white to kind of stay in the background, kind of preventing it from going. Like there's a very thin line between heaven and hell. And sometimes hell is not what we think it is, but it's just something that people make for themselves. It doesn't mean that it's a physical place, but just something that people kind of create for themselves, and that's on its own horrible. I'm going to start now with the color, but for these ones I'm going to basically place all three colors here on my mat. So there's the true yellow, and I'm going to get the tiger orange and the carmine red. So all three colors are kind of, they're going to be mixed here. But the way I like adding these is that I actually like wetting my background a little bit, so that way they can kind of drip. And I'm going to start with the lightest one. And I find that when you add this water, it really helps it move. And I want to be careful. Obviously, I don't want to go too far down because of the same reason that I said before. I want the white to kind of stop it from going there, although it's not really doing that. I might have to. That's okay. Sometimes fire goes higher than we want to. So as you can see, this one really wants to escape, and I'm trying to keep it at bay. This one really wants to let out, so maybe it's supposed to let it go all the way. It's a pillar of fire reaching the top, and that's okay. Let it reach the top. I guess that pillar of fire wants to reach. It's trying to reach of heaven, to say that, you know what, I'm alive, and that's okay. Let's just continue going with the rest. This red really makes it beautiful. The fire looks beautiful. And sometimes we need to extinguish some of the fire, right? We don't need to always have it running up, making us feel like that. There's another pillar of fire that wants to go. I'm going to work back and forth with things. I just don't want it to all go up there. Some fires need to be extinguished before that. But there we go. And if I don't have enough, I can always there we go. Embers of fire. Okay, I like this. It's okay if it splatters into heaven. I mean, it doesn't need to splatter, but it's splattering, so you might as well go for it. Sometimes we just don't know what's going to happen. Now I want to add a little bit of black. So I really find that black really makes a difference and adds like a beautiful touch to things, but you have to be very careful when adding black, right? Now I know I find that obviously my art journal pages sometimes become a bit weird, and it's up to you if you want to, if you can connect with them. Every person connects with their own art, but this one for me, the last time I made a fire looking art journal, it really released me. It helped me. It had two elephants and they had fire coming out of their trunks, and it really released the fire inside of me, what was stuck inside of me. And you can watch that on my YouTube channel. I'll try to link this at the end, but so you can really see what I'm talking about, or I'll link it here above, whichever way. Okay, there we go. I really like that black. The black adds a lot to it. Okay, there we go. Now I just need to dry it up and see if it needs any more color. So I can add a little bit more, maybe of this color here. I think just kind of painting, it just really helps me release those emotions that are stuck inside of me. It's sometimes odd at what I do. I don't know why I do certain things. I sometimes think that I'm doing certain things and it turned out to be different than what I thought. You never know what you're gonna get with these. So I'm not even sure if I needed to add this white, because it kind of covered the really nice glittery effect of the background, and I can add that again, I guess, if I want to. Let me just dry this up and then I will add some more stuff. After drying it, I saw that some of the areas are a little bit wet, and I figured that, you know what, maybe I can add a little bit of embossing powder in some areas. I really want to add some gold in it, so I'm just going to attempt it. I don't know how it's going to come out, but I just want to attempt some of the embossing powder in some areas. I think that will look really cool to have a little bit of gold in certain areas. Not everywhere. I don't want it everywhere. I just want it in certain areas. And now I'm going to heat set it again, and that gold is going to melt and create golden flecks in my fire. Okay, the embossing came out really cool on these edges and over here, but I wanted to add a little bit more, so I figured maybe I will get like an embossing pen and just kind of add a little bit of stuff here and there. That way I can add it in certain areas too. Okay, let's see. Now I'm going to add the same thing. I can actually see where I'm adding it to. And can even correct if I need to. So like if I want to add a little bit more, I can do that as well. So this is good for little areas and stuff like that. Now again, I'm going to heat set it. So here you go. I have some golden in it as well, and then I can even doodle a little bit with black marker to kind of add to this if I want to. The other idea that I had was to just journal around the flames. So I think that would be a good idea. So I'm just going to journal a little bit about it, about my feelings in this one. And you might not be able to read what it says, but it's just my own feelings about what I was feeling during this time when I was creating this. Okay, so that's basically my idea here. And then I guess I need some word or something to, I don't know, a word, and maybe I want to stamp something as well. Let's see. Maybe a little butterfly. Butterflies are always a sign of metamorphosis and renewal. And I just figured this would be a good thing to have here. Butterflies flying up to heaven. Yeah. Out of the ashes, right? And where would the other one go? Okay, there we go. Okay, that's good. I like the butterflies flying out of it. And now let's see if I can find a word for it as well. So I didn't have the exact word of what I wanted to write. I wanted something to do with redemption, but truthfully I couldn't find it. I only have certain sentiments, and I love this book from Finnabair with the sentiments on it. But I thought own your own story. That's a really good one. And I'm just going to add this one here. I really think that's important. Each of us should just own our own stories. And like, you know, it just basically is so clear, like believe in ourselves and believing in ourselves and what we stand for. I'm just going to put a little bit of gel behind this just because it's not gluing itself on my stuff. Okay, it got a little distorted when I added the gel, but that's okay. It still looks pretty cool. I want to just fix these butterflies. I find that I want them to be whole. I feel like they're like only half butterflies and they need to be full butterflies. There we go. I like that better. And I mean, this is it. Like now all you have to do is just basically add this journal to my other ones. So for example, I can add it over here and just fit it in. And it's so easy to just click inside, and then it's part of my full journal. So it looks like this, and then the pages can be flipped, and it's just part of my art journaling book. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I'm really happy you joined us in this hop. And continue on to the next person. Just hop along and you can win some amazing prizes. Thank you so much, everyone, and have an amazing day. Bye.